All right. So I probably should have thought of a name first. So if a name hits you when we get going, you can throw it out at me. But we are with the one and only, the GOAT of SWASU baseball, Zack Saunders. Well, the GOAT might be JR if you know him.
Yeah,
But uh,
let's call it what it is.
so so where are you going live from this morning?
We're here at the house. Seems to be our going deal. Just got through with the workout and just hanging out at the house for a little bit. And it's weird how the schedule's changed. And but yeah, we're here hanging out. Kiddos are behind me having fun, and just another day in COVID-19.
So you're a homeschool dad now?
Well, let's not go too far. We're a homeschool dad, outdoor recreation guy. That's what we are.
You
So,
are a full-time PE teacher.
fact, and we do a lot of golfing. We do a lot of running to the baseball field so Dad can mow and do some things. So yeah, I don't know if it's the funnest PE that they've had in their lifetime.
So you talked about your new routine. What does that even look like? What is, I mean, how has it changed? That we know that sports have been put on hold minus, I think I saw NASCAR is doing racing on the internet and they're putting it on Fox and those guys are still calling it. But minus that, what does your routine look like?
You know, I think that's probably the biggest shock over the last few weeks. Elissa and I were talking about what a big change that's been, because I'm such an early riser, and I get out the door pretty quick in the springtime, and it's pretty much baseball from dawn till dusk. And boy, that's really changed. It's allowed me to catch up on sleep. I will say, because I'm usually a 4 or 5 hour night guy during the springtime, which I get to the summer and I pay for it. But it's been really good. It's been good to be here and actually get to see them in the mornings and get to talk to them about what's going on with them. And at school, as we all learn, our distance learning is coming for all the kids.
Yeah.
With Weatherford, Listen, I've been talking about that, but I think it's just been good to see people face to face that I don't usually get to see in the springtime. And so that's probably the biggest adjustment for me.
So what do you, with baseball and some of that stuff, what is that? Because did they put a freeze on recruiting? I mean, I did see that you guys got a commit, which I don't even know. I don't want to do any violations, so I won't talk about that. But what does that even look like? When do you expect to get back to normal? Is it just kind of everything's frozen, or what do you guys?
Yeah, I think for us, it's we can't sign anybody. NCAA put a freeze until the 15th, so we can still talk to them, FaceTime, Zoom. We can do all these things with them. Yeah, we can Zoom with them and the whole bit. But I think we just try to make a bunch of calls, so it's really not too different than what it is anyways. Other than the fact that we can't sign anybody for 2 more weeks. But we've gotten a few 3 or 4 verbal commitments and just kind of waiting on that to get here. We're going to try to get a couple more. But yeah, everybody coming back, we had seniors coming back and that we didn't plan on coming. And so it's a good thing. It's a really good thing for us. And really, Alyssa and I sitting there talking about it last night. It's like an extended summer. I mean, it really is for us. You hate it for some of the seniors that won't get a comeback because of jobs and just time to move on with life and those kind of things. But yeah, I mean, it's an extended summer break for us where you get a really, I think we get to do a lot of things that we have to wait until late in the summer to do, and we get to do them now. And so, yeah, it's a really bad deal, but at the same time, there's some big time silver lining through the whole thing.
So does this mean that you're going to up your yard game even more, and I'm going to have to I was just, you saying that you're like, oh, I got more time. I'm thinking your yard kills mine anyways, and now talking about old man stuff, but it's
man, I am. I think I'm. A 6-year-old trapped in a almost 40-year-old body, because I do,
you're
man.
In your prime.
Man, I am in my prime, but the yard is, yeah, it'll probably get pretty obsessive this summer. I've already kind of got started with it, and now we're working on sprinklers and, trying to figure out why one's popping up and another one's not. But yeah, there's some hobbies that I'm going to get to do that, you can say mowing yards is hobbies. That's pretty sad, but it definitely is one of mine for sure. I really enjoy it.
Probably a good thing I don't have a sprinkler because I think I might end up playing whack-a-mole with it. And when they come on, just whacking it back down when they're not supposed to be up, and it wouldn't go well. So
You just have Carson come over and do it, man. That
that's
sucker was
true.
working hard the other day.
Yeah, I know. And I was just sitting in here watching him as the mower goes by, just thinking, that's the feeling. That's the life right there.
He's gonna be shaking his head when he sees this. Better him than you, though, huh?
That's right. So one of the things they've told us to do, or they've not told us, but asked us to continue to help support like our local businesses, that type of thing. So I just wanted to hear, what is the go-to place and order for you here in Weatherford locally? What's your go-to if you could get anything?
So if you can't tell by looking at me, I love food. And so there's a couple of them. I'm a Qdoba guy. Jamie's a good friend. I remember talking to him before he ever even got here, when he was still in Oklahoma City. Him and I crossed paths, and he kind of said it was coming. And so that's kind of my go-to. Get a bowl, mix it up different ways sometimes. I like it spicy, so that's kind of the go-to order. As spicy as I can get it, probably the better. And then, again, another Mexican restaurant. I'm a El Patio fan. My wife's more of a Piscinas, and so are the kids.
Patio has the salsa game at El Patio, man.
It's good.
That's what you fill up on at Mexican restaurants anyway. So
right, and everything's smothered in queso. You can't go wrong. It's I feel myself gaining 6 or 7 pounds every time I'm in there, but it's worth it, I think.
So you're going to come out of this with the quarantine 15 that they're talking about, or whatever?
I think I'm already there. I'm trying to get it off. It's like the new is worn off of being in the house every day. It's like, okay, we've got to have a set routine where we get some workout in and go for a run or do something to stave off, being 30 pounds heavier when we get back in August.
Yeah. I spend a little bit of time riding and flying on my spin bike to Peloton and arguing.
Peloton.
That's right. So, hey, so one of the things that came out yesterday, ESPN has done this, and I can't even remember the name of the series, but about Jordan and just their run, and which I'm going to throw this out there and whatever, but I feel like he is the GOAT. He's the best. Don't give me any of this LeBron stuff. But they are moving up the series to April. They're going to release it over a few weeks. So I thought it'd be cool to hear, who is Zack Saunders' sports idol? Who was it growing up? Who did you want to be?
I wanted to be MJ. That was like, when I was growing up, it was right through the heart of it. So I'm so jacked to get to see this. And but I think as you go through baseball, Cal Ripken Jr. was a big one, and kind of going through when the Chicago Cubs were, running through the deal, Ryan Sandberg and all those guys. And so, like, Ozzie Smith was a big one. And so I had 3 or 4 guys that I always wanted to be like. Nolan Ryan, of course, being a Texas guy. It was –
who was it that he took on when he was 40?
Ventura.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah, Ventura, who's an OSU grad. Yeah, he you see that stuff all the time. But I think he was the epitome of, what I wanted to be, as far as just like, he was tough, and he was the best in the league. And he just seemed to not age. And you saw some of his workout, regiment, and you were just like, I want no part of that. That's probably why he's the best too.
Yeah. I some of those guys I remember, mine was, I enjoyed Frank Thomas, the big hurt.
Yeah.
That was my dude. But then also Jordan. And so I'm pumped for this. I hope it's good. And I hope they don't throw it on that ESPN stuff, or I'm going to be spending money on that. But
I've got you taken care of.
Okay. So we're going down that memory lane. Let's stay there for a second. I wanted to ask you, when you started here at SWOSU, way back when, I won't even mention that I might have been one of your residents in the dorm. We'll leave that aside. But if you could go back, what do you wish you had known then that you know now?
I think that he's got a plan. When you start talking about those things, to be perfectly honest, I only thought I'd be here a couple of years. I thought I'd get my master's and, thought I'd knock some things out and move on about my way and just kind of be here for a minute. But, I think just that he's got a plan. I think if somebody would have told me 15 years ago, it's funny to say that out loud, 15 years, in 2005, that I'd still be here in 20 and have, put roots down and, have a life and have kids and just, the quality of life is so good for us at this point. I think I'd be surprised. But I think also on the other side of it, how much patience and perseverance it's going to take to get to that point. I was an assistant for 2 different people, applied for the job twice, was not given it the first time. I think was the smartest thing that could have ever happened. I wasn't ready at the time. I wasn't ready when Coach Thurman gave it to me. But I think I really was unprepared, as a 20, I guess I was 26 the first time I applied for it. And 26 years old, I wasn't ready to do that. And I think Cecil Perkins and a few others realized that and wanted me to stay as an assistant and had a really good thing with Residence Life and worked there and did all that. But the second time around, just how much patience it's going to take and how much hard work it's going to take. God, it's a grind some days, but well worth it. It's I think anybody that's been here and obviously the people that'll see this are SWOSU people by and large. It's a place that is special, and it's got some kind of magnet field around it that makes you, want to be here and be in Weatherford and be a part of, what it's like to be a Bulldog and just on and on. And I think that's kind of I get to look back a lot as I see different guys show up, alumni-wise. That's the biggest thing is you get to kind of relive some of those early years and just, what a journey it's been.
Yeah, with that, this just popped into my head, but is there anything you would want to say to if anybody does catch this that is a supporter, a fan, or because I was just thinking as you were talking, that Tuesday game against OBU, I showed up right at the end of the game and no idea that's going to be the last game of the season. And so is there anything that you would want to say to those people out there?
I think, more than anything, it's almost like a reset button for us. And so we're excited about getting started again with almost the same group. I just think there'll be some of those seniors come back and just go to school to finish in the fall. I think if some of them or see those guys, obviously put your arm around them. That's not how anybody should have to, end their career or in their whatever it may be. Whether it's a senior finishing their spring and they're graduating and supposed to walk and we're not having graduation and all those other things. That's what comes to my mind.
No club.
Yeah. You think about those things. I remember walking across mine and telling my family I don't think I was going to walk. And I got the crazy look of a first-generation college grad that, no, son, this is not about you. You're going to graduate and you're going to walk.
I'll carry you across that stage.
I think that was actually the words they used, for both my mom and dad. And I think some of those guys are in the same boat. And so it breaks my heart. It's something that's heavy on my heart a lot with those guys. I know they'll be fine. But I think that's the biggest thing, that we'll be back. It's going to be a very exciting group to be a part of next year. And we're looking forward to going back to normal. And I think things will change a lot with what normal means in a good way. You'll get to have some perspective, I think, at this point and what's really important and, get to kind of reset who you want to be.
Yeah, no, that's good. I want to end with a couple of questions. Would you rather style? So the first one kind of has something to do with sports. I thought this would be a tough one for you. Would you rather be the worst player on a team that always wins or the best player on a team that always loses?
Ooh. For me, I'd rather be the worst player on the winning team. I'm such a competitive human to a fault a lot of times, where things don't always come out well when I lose or win.
Maybe worse if you win.
Yeah, I think, the good Lord tries to humble me from time to time, which is probably a good thing. I'd probably have to say the worst team on a winning team. Or the worst player on a winning team. There's no better feeling than going home a winner, and I'm okay not being the best player.
I somehow figured that's what you would choose, because I'm thinking in his mind, he's thinking I may be the worst player, but I can at least get a little bit better, and we'll still win. Hey, I'm the worst coach on my staff, so that's just I know that for a fact. Those guys work way harder than I do and know way more about what they're coaching than I do, and so
I'm used to playing second fiddle to somebody, so I'm totally okay with it.
And then this one's a random one, but I want to hear your thoughts. Would you rather have no candy at Halloween or no turkey at Thanksgiving?
Man, I gotta go no candy at Halloween. Those holidays, man, you start talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of those, man, you take away turkey or ham or whatever your thing is at the holidays, like, man, get out of here with that. I'll be okay with no candy. Now, if you start talking about sweets and desserts, like real stuff after dinner, we might have a different discussion, but
leave the pies alone, but you can have
don't touch my pies, man. Don't touch my pies. So that's we might have a totally different discussion between pies and turkey, but for the candy with Halloween, yeah, man, I'm okay with it.
Well, hey, thanks for jumping on here with us. Is there any last parting thing, or if not, we'll wrap it up and you get the honor of being our first guest, but anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I think as people see this, I think if they have a chance to pour in and as they see, FBCU or whatever their places that they go to, I think now more than ever, I think it's really important that people continue to try to reach out and really put in that foundation. So when we do all go back to normal, you're looking forward to something. And I think, automatically putting yourself in a good spot when you get back in August or July or, whenever we return to normal at this place.
I heard somebody say it this way, and I don't know that they were necessarily talking about athletics, but I think it applies across. Don't waste this quarantine. Don't waste this time. Think about who you want to be on the other side of it and work towards that. So thanks for joining us this morning, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me. I sure appreciate you getting to be the first. So I like being the guinea pig.
That's right. We'll see you.